If your dream is to travel into space, get excited. Traveling into space is the next best tourist attraction. In today's list, we're covering all the exciting news about space travel, from the companies building spaceships to how close we really are to flying up into the sky on a rocket. Starting with number 7, why do people want to travel into space? Apart from humanity's natural urge for exploring, there are more reasons as to why everyone is suddenly interested in space. 2020 limited traveling on Earth like never before. People are desperate to travel. Maybe Earth doesn't hold the answer. Maybe it's time to move on to another planet. Climate change is a threat to our life on Earth, so there are currently plans of leaving this planet, searching for another to live on, such as Mars. Apart from planets, travelers want to get closer to the stars. Question is, who can go? Or is it only going to be available for the rich? Next up at number 6, the new space industry. It is expected that the growing market of space tourism is going to be worth at least $3 billion by 2030. Technology is advancing at a rapid rate. It's responsible for sending more people into space, and engineers are getting better by the year. Most space businesses right now are spread around the site at the Mojave Air and Spaceport. They're constantly building and working on their multi-million-dollar spacecrafts. Prices are estimated to decrease as more companies launch into space, but for the meantime, just by launching a satellite, you're looking at spending around $12 million. This excludes insurance, which can double the price. It is incredibly expensive for space rockets to launch, but once more companies are prepared to launch, prices will go down. Soon, spacecrafts, satellites, and space exploration missions are going to be launched at a reduced rate. Aren't you excited to hear this? I know I'm going to put on my spacesuit right away. How about you? It's certainly something that gets CEO of Virgin Galactic and ex-NASA employee George Whitesides excited. He tells us, by lowering the cost of space access, we'll be able to do things like sending little nanosats all over the solar system and do all of this incredible science, which is so expensive now. If we're able to tackle some of these challenges by demonstrating access to space technologies, then I think that will be profound. Number 5, Virgin Atlantic's initiative. Virgin is aiming for the stars with their new Galactic Spaceship 2. Its interior has 6 sleek passenger seats, a wealth of windows, as well as room to float around inside the cabin. It also has a breathtaking view, giving you an awesome ride. What more do you want? Virgin is on the verge of sending passengers into space. They're currently running test flights on its suborbital spaceplane. These flights offer paying customers roughly 6 minutes of weightlessness during its journey through Earth's atmosphere. Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Want to know how much it costs? For a 5-minute experience of weightlessness, you're looking at $250,000. Imagine just floating in space, letting all of your worries fade away. But is it worth that massive amount of money? Why not consider skydiving? It will certainly be cheaper than $250,000. Richard Branson, founder of Virgin Galactic, has this to say after his recent experience into space. I've always dreamt about what it would be like to be in space, looking back at this incredible Earth. It's impossible to describe just how magnificent it is. Branson is living the life. Lucky guy. Next at number 4, World War II hangar. Another company working on space travel is startup company Xcore. They own a space facility in the Mojave Desert in California. It's a World War II hangar. They're currently building rocket planes for tourists to fly into space. For a cool ride in Xcore's 2-seater rocket ship, you're going to have to pay $95,000. Founder of Xcore, Jeff Greason, told us, I think there'll be some repeat customers. In my own experience, this is not a scientific survey. People who are buying tickets in advance for suborbital flights are doing so because by being an early adopter, they're helping push the technology forward. They're not doing it because it would be fun. There's a component of fun, but they're doing it because they know that if people hadn't bought $10,000 flat screen TVs, no one would have one today. If people hadn't bought $5,000 cell phones, nobody would have one today. They're people who have dreamed of spaceflight for a long time. They want to see spaceflight really happening. They're aware that by being one of the pioneering customers, they're helping to make that happen. Greason also had this to say, we don't have a multi-billion-dollar funding us. We started examining how a fully reusable orbital system would look and realized we would need to develop earlier versions of that to learn how to build them. Those earlier versions also have to make money. Next, we have at number 3, SpaceX and Axiom's agreements. SpaceX is cooperating with space tourism company Axiom Space on tourism plans. Known as the Blockbuster Deal, they're working tightly together planning on sending people to the ISS in 2023. SpaceX and Axiom have another deal for their Dragon spacecraft flight. The flight is set for early 2022 for 3 private citizens and Michael Lopez Alegria, former NASA astronaut. There are going to be a total of 4 flights. Axiom is working on creating multiple private missions as space tourism efforts are getting more and more popular. Gwen Shotwell, the president and COO of SpaceX, has this to say: "A new era in human spaceflight is here. The Axiom station is being built for 2024 as a privately owned space station. It is separate from the ISS and is going to start operating in 2028. It might even be the best space vacation destination." What do you guys think? Let us know down below in the comment section. In 2021, SpaceX achieved a major milestone, launching humans to the International Space Station from the United States. SpaceX is already showing great progress with their new Crew Dragon capsule through NASA's Commercial Crew program. They have already launched 3 successful missions with professional astronauts. The following Axiom missions are going to consist of private crews. NASA has announced that the first mission in January 22 comes in at a $55 million price tag per seat. If you can afford that, book your seat early. Next at number 2, Elon Musk and his space plans. Elon Musk is a billionaire who dreams big. That is perhaps why he's so successful. He knows the sky's the limit, or not the limit at all. His company SpaceX is ambitious and wants to be the first company to succeed in space tourism. His latest product is the SpaceX Starship. 4 crews are going to receive commercial astronaut training. SpaceX is planning on providing the training on the Falcon 9 launch vehicle. The training is conducted by SpaceX and NASA. The training includes spacesuit and spacecraft ingress and egress training, emergency preparedness, and partial and full simulations. Even Elon Musk is very skeptical about the safety of space travel, even though or because he is responsible for some of the space programs. Here's his take on the dangers of space travel. "It's weird if it doesn't explode during these tests when we're testing out a rocket. You will get much more data when it explodes than if the rocket is slightly successful." Musk calls this unexpected disassembly. The next-gen Starship spacecraft is going to send a group of astronauts around the moon. Musk has this to say about his plans for space travel: "We don't want to be one of those single-planet species. We want to be a multi-planet species. It's been almost half a century since humans were last on the moon. That's too long. We need to get back out there and have a permanent base on the moon. Again, like a big, permanently occupied base on the moon, and then build a city on Mars to become a spacefaring civilization, a multi-planet species." Number 1. What are NASA's plans? NASA aims to transport people to the moon again, and beyond. Moon missions are the first stage of exploring other distant worlds. Competing with other companies, NASA is again focusing on Earth's moon, which is the nearest celestial neighbor. In the next decade, NASA is going to place a space station in lunar orbit. A sister to the Apollo missions of the 60s and 70s, the Artemis program is working on sending the first women on the lunar surface by 2024. Long-term space missions rely on extended lunar stays for visiting other planets. A great forward base is the moon. It is the perfect place for human operations. It's a great spot for replenishing essential supplies like oxygen and rocket fuel. Specific skills are needed in vessels that would secure survival. At this point, traveling to space is a dangerous venture. Humans are not unfamiliar with the moon. Dozens of people have been there over the years. But the moon isn't the only place on NASA's radar. They're aiming to travel into deeper space. This demands more independence from Earth-based resources. The cratered sphere of the moon is still mysterious. We still don't understand everything about the moon yet. There is still so much left to discover. Water ice needs to be found near the moon's south pole. This is something essential that these companies are trying to find right now. But let's not forget about those aliens we need to find. Today, NASA's Commercial Crew program is expanding on the agency's relationship with private companies. NASA is using Boeing and SpaceX to invent a spacecraft capable of carrying humans into orbit. Once those vehicles are built, both companies retain ownership and control of the craft, and NASA can send astronauts into space for a fraction of the cost of a seat on Russia's Soyuz spacecraft. If you're absolutely desperate to travel into space, some of the easiest ways are to become an employee of NASA or any of these private space travel companies. But you probably still need to be the smartest kid in school or university and know the right people. Well, that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like the video, and leave a comment. See you next time.